You get that on camera.
Yeah. Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to this cringe introduction to episode 525 of Blunt Force Healing. Oh, Julian is already panicking because
I'm not panicking.
there's some weird insects
They're not
already
weird insects, they're freaking mosquitoes.
appearing. They look like mosquitoes, but I don't think they are. They're so... I will sound racist, of course I am not, but they are like a black mosquitoes.
Huh?
And they are totally black, literally. If we find them, I will film them, so my words are not empty, but you'll actually be able to see them. I don't know. They are very specific, and I only seen them here.
That's why I don't like walking here.
So I don't know what type of insect it is. Anyway, so as promised already, here we are in the Glenveagh Valley and Glenveagh National Park. We barely made it to get some snack before our hike.
Well, you did.
Yeah, Julian didn't, but Julian had a solid breakfast before he went playing football, so he needs to survive on whatever he has in his stomach.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, we were
Gonna be here.
afraid that we won't make it,
Bongo.
and I have difficulty of recording anything because this guy is panicking and waving like
Panicking, lad.
crazy.
Just
Oh,
walking.
you may be able to see, maybe not. Oh, yeah, I can film it. It's here. It's totally black in color. There's plenty of them. They look a little bit like mosquitoes, and but they don't bite, which is crazy. Either they are not mosquitoes, or they are something else, or they are actually mosquitoes, and it's some weird cycle that they don't feed on human blood. I don't know. I'm not particularly an expert in this area. So you can see beautiful weather. It's that anomalous weather that I mentioned in a previous post, where we have a very lovely sunny weather. It's not super warm, but because the sun is shining, it is actually very pleasant. And despite the temperatures being in, I would say, higher 10s, so well, higher 10, about 8 to 9 degrees, maybe 10 degrees Celsius. The higher you go, obviously it's colder, and there is still snow on top of Erigal and Mukish. We can't see it from now or from here, but I'll try to add some short footage maybe at the end if we will be passing by and we can see it, so I can film it properly. But both Mukish and Erigal are covered at the top with the snow, and Bluestack Mountains as well, so it's quite cool. I was planning to go and climb some of this, but you know, life gets in the way and my plans didn't pan out. This is quite an interesting view. So a lot of water is coming down the mountains. They are filtered by the moss and they end up in the streams here, and obviously they feed that lovely Glenveagh Lake or Glenveagh Loch. Here you can see it's a very rocky type of glacier lake that probably is very, very old, and I'd love to go there and climb that wall. Of course, a lot of preparation and reconnaissance is needed to get there, but I might be able to do it this year or next year. In the meantime, this is the first segment. I'll keep recording shortly when we get closer, maybe to the waterfall. I don't know. We'll see. When something interesting pops up, I'll record it. So we decided to turn around, mainly because Julian's legs are not helping. He had the training today, so I guess he's tired enough. So this is the gate that I was mentioning before. It leads somewhere. I think there is like a little path in between the woodland. So I want to explore it myself. But as you can see, this beautiful waterfall. Well, waterfall. It is kind of waterfall. It goes down and there is a slight beach down there. And the sand at the end of this stream, that kind of the sediment that's, you know, collected at the shore, at the lake shore, and it creates like an amazing beach. I might actually drop a picture or two, or maybe I think I put the short segment of a video in our previous visit to Glenveagh. But yeah, this place is just amazing. Of course, these fences are making it a bit less raw, but I know that these fences have a purpose, I think, to keep not only people away from climbing those fairly dangerous at times mossy and rocky areas, but also from animals, especially deer, to coming onto the trail or the path, and from interacting with humans. I think, I don't know what was the actual reasoning behind it. I thought that maybe because deer, especially Sika deer, that is its population exploded in Ireland in recent years. It's dangerous for different species of trees, because it feeds on the bark of those trees, and because of that, as you know, probably bark is like a skin for a tree, like a skin for us, and it protects it from different parasites and other fungi infections and stuff like that. And obviously when deer makes it difficult for a tree to protect itself, it starts getting thick, and whole ecosystems can be affected if multiple trees start getting rot or parasites or fungi infections, and it spreads over, and woodlands are suffering then. So it might be one of the reasons. Second reason is especially related to humans, because deer are one of the hosts of black-legged ticks. And it sounds scary, black-legged tick. It's just because it's one of the ticks that has black legs, that's it. Because there are other ticks, like in Australia, in the US, that are of brownish color or yellowish color, or I think even a reddish type, but black-legged tick is most popular. And the tick itself is not dangerous at all. It's the host that matters because tick goes through, I would say 3 main phases, but sometimes it's divided into 4. So you have a nymph, a larva, and a larva is a very small tick which feeds on little animals and mostly lives in the litter, like leaves litter. And when it is fed and turns into nymph, there are, I think, two stages of nymph. That's why it's sometimes divided. So then the nymphs are feeding on the bigger animals or larger animals. It might be mice or squirrels, etc. And then obviously when it turns into adult ticks need bigger hosts to feed on, or at least maybe they don't need, but their DNA drives them towards the bigger hosts. And that means horses, deer, or wild boar, or things like that. And when they feed on these animals, they get their blood with multiple different bacteria or viruses, and they can transfer it to humans. And it doesn't bother ticks because they have very simple, I would say, gastric system, if you can call it. Their so-called stomach is holding the blood, which kind of makes them grow or develop. But obviously there's a bacteria in there, or viruses, and specifically bacteria that cause Lyme disease and other tick-borne diseases in humans are there. And when the tick happens to land on a human being, it will travel for some time until it finds a good spot. It has ability to somehow detect the warmth of or the close proximity of small blood vessels. So when it finds the spot that it likes, it will latch, and basically it will cut with its head straight into the skin until it finds the bloodstream, small vein or something like that, and it feeds on it. And it also doesn't do any damage to the human being. It actually does nothing, and sometimes most of the times you won't be able to feel it. But when it starts feeding, your body will react most of the times, and it will start being itchy. So you might scratch the tick and either destroy it or break it up, so that whatever blood it fed before, it might release to your irritated area where you might have damaged skin, so the bacteria might get to your bloodstream. But the tick itself only buries its head when it feeds on you, so the rest of the tick, the whole body with whatever stomach that contains blood, is outside. So the key point to not risking it with a tick is to remove it as fast as possible from your skin, and to make sure that you don't squeeze the body. Because if you squeeze the body or you irritate the tick in any way, it might spill or vomit the content of its stomach into your bloodstream, and that's what usually means the start of the disease, if it has that particular bacteria in their system. Because it's not like every tick has bacteria in their system. Probably not many have, statistically, but problem is you never know. So it's crucial to remove the tick before it latches. So every time you go from a high grass or forest area or anything like that, you should check yourself and remove ticks as soon as possible. Wash your hands, and that's it. If it is latched to your skin, then you should use like pincers and grab it as close to the skin as possible by its kind of head, or the part to not squeeze the body that is outside of the skin, and just slowly pull it off until it releases, and it will release. And then just you can kill it, burn it, whatever you want, but never ever use home remedies or methods that are suggested by certain generations of people, where they burn the tick or smear it with some oil or whatever, because it cuts off the oxygen, so tick needs to release. The problem is that if it irritates the tick, it will still immediately, before it releases, it will first release the content of its stomach to your bloodstream. So you're actually increasing the risk of having a huge problem, because Lyme disease and other diseases that are tick-borne sometimes are almost for life, or very hard to fight against. So yeah, that was enough about ticks. Look at that beautiful wall. Yeah, so we are now walking back towards the castle. We might make it to the shuttle. If we do, we will return with the shuttle to the car park. If not, we have another 3.5 kilometers. So I'll update you once we know if we made it or not. It seems like we didn't make it. We were about a minute after. But using that opportunity, let me show you Glenveagh Castle.
Gosh darn it.
It's a very nice building, still fairly well preserved. We are waiting for Elizabeth. I don't think so. She's having a laugh because we were running and we didn't make it. So that's it. There are still people here, so nice. We'll be walking back along the way. So let me stop now and record more shortly. So yes, we are walking back because we didn't make it. As I mentioned before, we didn't make it to the bus. Julian is tired. My legs got a little bit of wear as well, because
You said you were gonna kill me.
we were running. We were running the last bit.
To the police.
Ah, yeah. And have a look at that mirror-like lake. It's amazing. Elizabeth is there. Julian is there. Yes, he's weird.
I'm not weird.
My God. So
Pretend we did not just see that.
we're walking back, as I mentioned before. We didn't make it to the bus. You can see the lake is like a glass or like a mirror. It's amazing. And I had to re-record this one because by mistake I filmed someone in the distance having a wee-wee. So yeah, so this is I guess it's the final segment.
You can see the mountain covered.
Oh yeah, you can see the
tip of the
Mukish. I think I can't zoom it in.
mountain. The mountain.
So instead of keeping recording now, let us walk a bit longer, and when we see Mukish from a better position, I will record the final segment. Alright guys, so this is Mukish. Isn't it beautiful? And that reflection in the lake, it's just amazing. and as you can see,
Hair.
there's a lot of
I spilled tea on myself.
snow at the top, and Julian just spilled the rest of the tea on himself.
I couldn't get that.
Wow, thank you.
Hair.
So this is it for today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you liked the footage from Glenveagh, and see you tomorrow.
Don't you dare post that.